Get on your Genera Hypercolor, your cross colors. Grab some Crunchbungas and some High C Ecto Cooler. We're going back to the 90s. And we're going back to Christmas. That joyous time, that disappointing time where you look through all these catalogs the size of phone books to find out what should be under the tree. Should it be the Traveling Wilburys guitar, the rock tumbler? I don't know. And what I really wanted was the Korg 01W. Amazing synth at the time. And of course, John Sparapoulos had one just for having his best hair in school. And my parents were like, what? We don't know where to buy a keyboard. And the last keyboard we bought you was the Casio SK1. My parents being boomers, they thought, the only place to buy electronics were like shops like Crazy Eddie, where they're insane. Joe Namath and Nobody Beats the Wiz, maybe Circuit City. They never heard of Sam Ash, Guitar Center, Musician's Friend, all great instrument stores that are unfortunately now out of business where you could get a great Korg product. So were you in a suburban situation like I was? Let's look at 3 choices of what you could get under the tree. And we're starting with the Casio CT6500, which was probably, a closeout deal at the time. It was a pretty cool synthesizer for a Casio. Not quite as good as a CZ, but lots to offer. What I do like about this synthesizer is that it does not start with a piano tone or patch. It starts with a synthesizer patch, and that is much more kind of in line with what this keyboard can do. And honestly, to me, for an electronic instrument, why do we always feel like we're forced to start with acoustic sounds? I think they're better left as kind of expected, afterthoughts. So I think this is probably what my parents would have bought, had they actually cared enough. They thought that music was a total frivolous thing to waste time in, and always said, learn how to play and then we'll get you an instrument, and that kind of seems backwards. You can still have some fun with this instrument, even if you are making like weird John Balance style arrangements with the out-of-the-box arrangements here. It's still kind of fun, but definitely not an 01. So if your parents had some money and maybe a little bit more forward thinking, you might have gotten the Kawai Superlab. This is the FS2000. This keyboard was more forward-looking. It had a lot of kind of professional synthesizer features. It had a synthesizer option. It had a sequencer on board. It allowed you to bring some audio in. It was not a sampler, but still had a lot to offer, I guess, and a really kind of like, for the time, futuristic look. So much of these annoying arrangement features that just like really are impractical to anyone who actually wants to make music. Maybe to play other people's music, fine, but it's a boring synth. As boring as it is, I still think it's a step up from the Casio 6500. You can do a lot with this, and for somebody who would be just kind of a burgeoning keyboard user, it does give you a lot more than today's Casio tones as far as flexibility and also recording ability, but still not nearly what the 01 was, and probably close to the price. Okay, so your parents have some money. They're going to buy you potentially the Yamaha PSR 6700 here. This is like top of the line arranger synth, personal keyboard. The things you would find at the Crazy Eddie or Circuit City type stores, not the thing you would find at Sam Ash, the professional store, and costs like twice as much as the keyboard you actually wanted. However, there is a lot of like kind of cool stuff. So this machine has a lot of arrangement features. It has a pretty awesome sequencer built in, and it also does have a little bit of synthesis built in. So while very expensive, I think you could have a lot of fun with it. If you were really pining after the Korg 01 back in the day, getting this machine would probably be sad on a few levels. One being that you could buy the 01, a complete complement of effects, a PA system for your studio, a drum kit, a guitar, all for the same money. And when I say a drum kit and a guitar, I mean like a Fender Stratocaster, American made, which was like $300 at the time. All these things would have been applicable to you, and you could have had like a complete like, you know, proto Trent Reznor, setup in your own basement versus having this one very fancy but kind of annoying arrangement. So what's the lesson here? Well, really there is no lesson. These are just some sense that you probably could have gotten if you were in the suburban situation with parents that have nothing to do with music, that were trying to fulfill your need of finding a large, full-size keyboard back in the early 90s and not knowing where to find a proper Korg synth. Of course, if you wait long enough, you'll get whatever you want. If you're patient, I have now 2 01s, including the one that was featured in the beginning of this video, which I bought for a whopping €100 a few years ago, and it's one of the earliest Korgs remaining on the planet in that series. I hope this is mildly entertaining, so do smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and maybe I will share more content with you if you're good. But if you're naughty, you might get a Casio.